Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you my French artillery and cavalry collection. All of these is going to be 10 mil, Pendragon. You know the deal by now if you've been following the channel. This is part of a few videos where I want to show you guys my French collection. At the moment I can tell you I am finishing a Bavarian army. Well, not exactly an army, but it will amount to 2 brigades, I guess, at least. My idea is that after having done the British and the Portuguese, I'm doing, and having finished the French as well, now I'm painting the French allies. Started with Saxony, then the Poles, and now the Bavarians. So I'll let you know once those are done. I intend to do another video specifically on that. For today, we're going to look only at French artillery and French cavalry. Let's start with horse artillery. I'm going to move these guys aside just so we have a bit more room. I've built 2 batteries of 3 pieces, as you can see, of horse artillery. They look quite well painted. I love the way they look on the table, as you can see them. I'm going to place these guys looking backwards and these guys moving forward. It's just so we can have a bit of a feel for how they look both ways. Yeah, let me just put this straight. Lovely minis. They also come with limbers, of course. I'll show you the limbers in a second. Let's start with the cannons themselves. They are 12 pounders each and every one. 9 pounders each and every one of them. And as you can see, they are painted to represent the horse artillery of the old guard. So you can see they have this almost hussar-like uniform. Proper dapper, if you'd ask me, especially if you're going to be manning a 9-pounder covered in black powder, soot, smoke, and dirt. But hey, that's the 19th century for you. Like I said, I painted 6 of these pieces. When put together, they look quite well. I think that's actually something you gain from 10 mil minis, is that artillery looks like a proper battery. Something that always annoyed me about 28 mil, and I love 28 mil, don't get me wrong, but something that always annoyed me a bit about 28 mil was that you represent the battery by 2 cannons or 3 cannons, but because the scale is so large, it doesn't really look like a proper battery. And I don't have that feeling with 10 mil. So in 10 mil, I think it works quite well. Painting style, also because I haven't talked much about it, try to, at 10 mil, I think it's important. Almost, basically, there are no highlights and bases. At most, everything is a highlight if you think about it that way. So prime black, paint the main areas of the main color. Don't go crazy in terms of shades and stuff like that and layers. And this is what you end up with. I always try to, for example, if I'm painting in this case a white band on top of a blue uniform, I try not to paint the blue, not to cover the primed area in between them, so that everything has this bit of a line, which makes details easier to identify. And overall, I think it works quite well at these smaller scales. I'm quite happy with the way this turned out to be. Apologies. Overall, these are some of my favorite French units, I have to admit. So I'm going to leave these guys here. I think, okay, I'm messing up the camera because now it doesn't know where to focus. So I'm going to put these guys away. Going to show you the limber now. There we go. So the limber, once again, going for, because this is a horse artillery, I went for 6 horses to a base to distinguish from normal line artillery, which, as you can see, is only 4 horses to a base. Not much else changes. I may be failing to be 100% accurate on these uniforms. I'm just gonna put it out there. I know they may not be perfect, but at the scale and for what I'm intending to do with these, honestly, I'm happy enough. I usually don't think of it this way. I don't go for good enough, but in this case, I decided this was good enough. Hey, you gotta cut me some slack every once in a while. We all have to. Okay, so let's talk line artillery. I've already shown you the limbers. You've already seen it. Nothing new there. And here I painted 3 batteries of 2 cannons, which of course can be merged in batteries of as many cannons as you like. Once again, good minis. I quite like the casting of the cannons. You see some mold lines, but honestly nothing you can't live with. And I quite like the attitude. For example, here I managed to paint these 2 guys and base them as if they're discussing what to do next, or maybe this guy's getting reprimanded for not loading his cannon fast enough. And in the same way, here you have, there you go, an officer telling his men where to point at. Everyone else is looking like they're listening to the guy and figuring out what he should do. Bit more here. There you go. Overall, splendid figures. Pendragon, as always, delivering the goods. You can't really complain. I've been buying their products for quite a while now, and honestly, they've come to be some of my favorites out there. So the other thing that I want to show you today is, of course, like I said, French cavalry, because if you're painting French, you better paint some cavalry. And this is what I came up with. I'm going to show you 4 squadrons. Let me just shove this aside. And here we are. So 4 squadrons, 2 light cavalry, 2 heavy cavalry. Let's begin with the light cavalry. Painted a squadron of hussars, which you can see here. There they are. Quite happy with these minis, actually. Also, the paint scheme, something that I've learned about 10mm, always go for things which you can highlight in white over colors, because it makes figures much richer. This unit is a good example of that. It almost overstates how much detail these minis actually have, and I'm quite happy with the way they turned out. You will see when I show you the Chasseur à Cheval that because it doesn't have the same level of detail to highlight in white, such as for example this guy's saddle here, this guy's mount, there you go. It almost looks like it doesn't have the same level of detail, when in fact the minis are equally good. So speaking of Chasseur à Cheval, and don't get me wrong, I quite like the way these guys turned out. I really think they captured that Napoleonic feeling. Here I gambled a bit and I painted their green with US dark green that usually use in World War II tanks, American helmets and stuff like that, and I think it paid off. I didn't want it to be a bright, flashy green. I wanted it to be a bit more of a worn out green, and I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. Speaking of flashy green, I wanted something a bit more vivid for my dragoons, and this is what I came up with. The green I use here is Caliban green from Citadel, and I have it right here. There you go. So if you're wondering, this is the green I used for my French dragoons. Overall, quite happy with the way they turned out. I used pink, the pink squadron, where the second color was pink, because I thought on the table it would be the easiest one to recognize because of the contrast, and I think it worked. To be fair, I think it worked. I'm quite happy with the final result. There you go. So as you can see, they look a bit scary in their big horses and their large broadswords. And finally, I saved the best for last, if you'd ask me, the cuirassiers, or cuirassiers. If you're gonna paint French cavalry, you gotta paint these guys. I mean, it's just a rule of the hobby, and here they are, and I quite like these guys, to be honest. Good level of detail. I think when they designed these castings, they did something smart, which is there is always enough of the cuirass exposed that the metallic tone flashes out. And here I just used normal lead belcher from Citadel paints as well, so nothing too fancy. And I think overall it looks really good. I remember someone saying that you should watch out how you paint the back of your soldiers, because that's what you're going to be looking at most of the time. Well, in that case, I think they look well. They look good all around. All right. So this is my French cavalry and artillery. The next thing I'm going to show in the next video are my French command stands, and after that I'm hoping to show you guys my French allies, so the Poles, Swiss, Bavarians, Saxons, so on and so forth. Till we meet again, you guys crack on, good painting, and let me know any comments you might have in the comment section. As always, if there are any units that you want to take a second look at, just let me know. Bye bye.